Seeing something is not the same as noticing it. Hi friends, so today we are going to be talking all about mindfulness, what it is, what it looks like, and why it's important, especially in this holiday season of busyness and being spread very thin. This could not be a more timely video, so take a look. There was a study done at UCLA that contained participants of faculty, students, and staff in the psychology department. They were asked whether they knew where the closest fire extinguisher was. Only 24% could remember, even though for 92% of the participants, a fire extinguisher was just a few feet from where they filled out the survey, which most often was either in their office or in a place where they frequently visited. Now, we could all admit to this in some way, right? Like, how often do we just check out while we're driving to work, dropping the kids off, grocery shopping, driving, whatever? Truly noticing what's around us helps our brains from shifting to autopilot. So what is mindfulness and what does it look like? Exactly what I just said. It's practicing being in the present moment and noticing the beauty that is surrounding us. In his book, Think Like a Monk, Jay Shetty shares how the monks would take the same exact walk on the same exact path each and every day. And every day they were invited to find something or notice something that they hadn't noticed before. This could be a flower, a rock, a tree, something like that, but something that they didn't find on their walk yesterday or the day before that or the day before that. Many of us tend to struggle with being very outside of our bodies, and this is where practicing mindfulness particularly comes in handy. Slow down. Take time to be present. Instead of having our heads in our phones, mindlessly scrolling through Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, take time to look at your surroundings and search for the beauty in your surroundings each and every day, because there's always beauty. When I was working as a speech language pathologist in a rehab center in Brooklyn and living in New Jersey, it would take me about an hour and a half to get to work each day. And that included walking to the bus stop, taking a bus to Port Authority, walking from Port Authority to the subway station, and then taking the subway to Brooklyn. So I had a lot of time in the morning and afternoons when I was commuting home to practice this. I would take time when I was on the subway specifically because there's just so many people and it's an open area versus a bus like you have the rows. But I would take time on the subway to look up from my phone and just look at the other people on the subway, just look at the commuters. And I didn't have any like mind-blowing conclusions or epiphanies or anything like that, but all I did was just take the time to just notice the people that surrounded me. And something, of course, if you are someone that lives in a big city or pays attention during commutes, the biggest thing that I noticed was the lack of practicing mindfulness, that everyone was in their phone or reading a book, which is good. I mean, reading a book is good, but nobody had their head up to pay attention to what was going on outside of them. Even me, when I first started this job, moving from North Carolina, a small town in North Carolina, to the big city, to the Big Apple, riding the subway was something that was kind of like a really interesting experience for me and kind of a big deal, if I'm being honest, because I had never ridden the subway before. I had never lived in like right outside of New York City, and that's something that you see on TV and you see in TV shows and movies, so that was something that was really cool for me. So riding the subway, I would be that weirdo that was like looking out at the bridges and the city when we were above ground and looking at the subway stations and watching people, because that was something that was a new situation for me. But of course, given time, after a few months of this, I did have my face in my phone and would be listening to podcasts or something like that. But I always took the time to try to practice mindfulness, to try to be present in the moment, even though it was mundane. So take time to be present and not only pay attention to your surroundings and notice your surroundings, but take them in, appreciate them, find the beauty that's surrounding you, because there's always beauty surrounding you. The goal here is to string all these moments of mindfulness together. We probably all agree that living and being in the present makes the most sense, right? We've all heard that quote, yesterday is history, tomorrow's not promised, so live in the present. But the truth is, we're only willing to be present at certain times, whether that's while we're watching our favorite TV show or doing our favorite workout class. But we still want to be distracted when we choose to be distracted. We spend time at work daydreaming about our beach vacation that's coming up, only to find that when we're on our beach vacation, we can't stop thinking about work. Jay Shetty shared how monks learned that these two scenarios are connected. A desired distraction at work leads to an unwanted distraction on vacation. Distraction at lunch bleeds into distraction in the afternoon. What's happening here is that we're training our minds to be where they physically aren't. We're training our minds to be somewhere else, whether that is through social media distraction, through daydreaming distraction, something like that. If you allow yourself to daydream, you'll always be distracted. Being present, truly present, is the answer to a truly rich and fulfilling life. Now, let's be really clear here when we're talking about daydreaming and practicing mindfulness or setting goals or knowing where you want to be but not being there yet. There's a very fine line, right? Because we often sometimes lump them together, that like if you're daydreaming, you are dreaming about somewhere that you aren't, right? There's nothing wrong with having goals and wanting to be somewhere further or higher up or wanting to achieve something in your life, right? But here we're talking specifically about practicing mindfulness, practicing being content with exactly where you are and finding the beauty in exactly where you are, knowing full well that you want to accomplish things, you want to be higher or be further along than you are in your life in the future. Does that make sense? Let me know what questions you have. Let me know what you think about this idea down below. Especially in this holiday season where we have so many distractions, we have so much going on, and we're really stretched pretty thin. At least I know I am. Practice being present. If you're at work before the holiday break or before you go visit your family, practice being present at work. Get everything that you can done. Get everything, all of those things checked off your checklist. Be mindful at work, so then when you're home with your family celebrating the holidays, you are able to be home with your family. Not thinking about work, not thinking about the work that you have to come back to and all of that. Be present. Find the beauty in each moment. I hope this was helpful. I hope that it spoke some meaning and life into you today. Please let me know what your thoughts are down below and how you specifically practice mindfulness. I'm really interested to know. See you next time. Bye.